Good morning and welcome to the show, and thanks for waking up with us today, which is our final show of the Don Show. And I have a special guest here today. We have Dr. Stephen Favaloro from Forest Park Animal Hospital, who we learn so much from every time you come on the show.
Yeah, very
about,
good. Thank
about
you.
our pets and all that. And congratulations, oh, by the way, Best in Bay.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you guys. I really have to pass that on to my staff.
Yeah.
Without them, we couldn't get half the stuff done.
Oh, you got a fabulous staff.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. It's a gift.
I know. Little Sandy, our
Yeah.
famous dog, has been going there for years now,
Yes.
and you guys just did an operation on her, and this is her second operation there. But she's
getting older.
She is getting older. She is, and I guess you have to deal with people like me and my wife that come in.
We call them clients.
People like me, pet owners who love their dogs, who love their
Absolutely.
animals, and just like there's different breeds of dogs, there's probably different breeds of owners, aren't there?
Everybody has a different personality.
Yeah. So, and you've got to cope with that sometimes.
Well, right. I mean, I'll tell a lot of people, they'll come in with a scenario, and you could take 10 different people in that same scenario with that pet and have a lot of different outcomes based on where they are in life, what their philosophy is, different things. I'll tell people I can take, like if it's like somebody who's in their like 50s or 60s, it's like I can take you from your 20s and 30s and you'll make a different decision than you will now versus your 30s and 40s and 40s and 50s. So it just depends where people really are in their life and what's going on.
Yeah, I suppose you've got some people who are very, most people who bring their dogs to a veterinarian are responsible owners. I mean, that's why they're
Absolutely.
there.
Generally because they want help.
Right. And then you offer that help. We were talking about aging dogs, and sadly, a dog's life cycle is quite shorter than a human's. And you probably see a lot of those scenarios where someone comes in with a older dog, 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe 15-year-old dog that isn't as frisky as he used to be. Maybe he sleeps a lot now. And
yeah, we get people that come in and basically it's a quality of life exam. They want to find out is Fluffy suffering too much, or is there anything we can do? And that's a slippery slope on that conversation because a lot of people come in already kind of knowing what they want to do, but they don't want to tell me.
Right.
They want me to tell them, but that's not my job to tell them. So I give them options. And so generally what I do now, just because I've been doing this for so long, is I'll kind of ask them, which direction do y'all want to go? What are you leaning towards? Because sometimes you'll go in and, I can talk about 10, 15 minutes on the things that we can do to improve the quality of life, maybe for 6 months, 8 months. And for some people, that's fantastic. And other people, that's not, they want me to tell them it's time.
And it's kind of a cold assessment that you have to do. I guess there's also like a cost-benefit thing that you got to look at. Like, yes, we can prolong Fluffy's life, make him or her a little more comfortable.
It's hard to do.
It's only going to be for another
It's hard
year
to
or
do
two.
in an emotionally based business.
Yeah, it really is.
I guess one of the things that I try to tell people is to be honest, and tell me what you want, because I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to help. And so
do you find that some clients will hold back information from you?
Yeah,
because they think you might think they're bad owners or something.
And to go to a more happy, positive, well, not that it always is, but people bring their dog in and it's like, it's throwing up. It's been throwing up for 2 days, and so it's like, all right, any changes? No changes, nothing. I fed a piece of chicken. Everybody's piece of chicken tends to be the first digit of the thumb. That's what everybody. I fed this much. I'm like, there's nothing that you're going to tell me that I haven't heard already.
I'm sure.
And there's nothing that you're going to tell me that I'm going to judge you on. But just tell me, because maybe we can get to the answer faster, and maybe
if it was a full chicken breast, you probably need to know that.
Well, or if it was a rib bone, or it was a big steak, or anything, or or you accidentally gave the dog your medicine.
Yeah.
Just tell me. It's
Yeah.
okay. It happens
You're
all
not
the
there to
time.
judge.
I'm
You're
just
there
here to help.
You're there to help.
So I do find that people are scared to tell us all the information and fear that we might see them as bad. We're all people too. People that don't do it all. I'm just here to help.
Yeah.
And all veterinarians are that way.
Yeah. And unless you're abusing your dog, you're not going to judge them.
Well, they're not going to usually bring them in.
Yeah, that's true too. I don't know that Michael Vick's been to your place
Oh,
lately.
stop
All right. Well, Dr. Stephen Favaloro from Forest Park Animal Hospital. Once again, congratulations on being best of day.
Thank you. Congratulations for having such a successful show.
Yeah, thank you. We're moving on to bigger and better things, though, and you've added quite a bit of interesting content.
It's been my
show.
pleasure for the last year and a half to come here and every week and do this, and I'll be sad not to continue.
Yeah, well, we'll be seeing you again, or at least Sandy will.
Very good.
I have another doctor waiting. Anyway, we'll be right back after your Waking Up with Don weather. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with my friend Joe Bober, adjunct professor at Gulf Coast State College. Thanks for coming back on the show, Joe.
Thanks for having me, Don.
Yeah.
I always appreciate it.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about what you do at the college and some of the programs that are available to people who may be interested in IT.
Sure. I'm an adjunct professor, which means essentially I'm part-time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I teach usually one course a semester. Sometimes I'll teach two. And what we do is we teach in what we call a blended format. The classes that I run are done online. So I send a web link to my students and they log on to the class and I go through some prepared slides and some information. But if the students have a headset, they can communicate with me in real time. So if they have a question, there's a way for them to identify themselves and I can stop in the middle of my instruction and answer any questions in real time.
Oh, that's cool.
And then what we do is, for a second time during that week, we'll meet with the students at the college in the Advanced Technology Center, or the ATC as we call it. And what we do there is we go through skills that they're going to need to pass the certification exam for the courses that I teach. Now, the reason we do that is because just listening to somebody talk, such as this right here, can get boring at times. And not only that, we want to reinforce the
Not
principles.
that this show is ever boring or has ever been.
No,
But
no, but if you're listening to somebody
Sure.
for an hour at a clip, I'm sure after a while you can start to sound
Yeah.
like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yep.
So what we try to do is bring them in and give them skills that reinforce the classes that we teach online. So when they finish the course, they have two things. Number one, they're prepared to pass the certification exam, that they're the course that I'm teaching. And number two, they have the skills, so if they needed to get a job, they have the basic skills to start right away, and they don't have to start from scratch.
So, and what are some of the certifications that you offer?
We offer what the CompTIA, the Department of Defense Regulation 8570 certification. That consists of CompTIA's A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus courses.
And what does all that mean? I mean,
What it means is you take a certification exam that proves to a potential employer that you have a certain level of skill. So for instance, the A+, it consists of two exams. And that's your basic PC troubleshooting. Okay, one is an application and one is more of systems analysis, trying to figure out what's wrong and what you're going to tell somebody to do. The Network Plus exam handles your basic networking technologies. Okay, what is a firewall? How do you segregate parts of your network? We call that subnetting. Okay, how to divide it up to make sure that it's easier to manage. And then the one that I teach, Security Plus, is an exam that shows you have a fundamental knowledge of network and information security. Okay, how to develop policies, what the difference between a policy, a procedure, and a guideline is. And other things that you can do to protect your systems, both with software and through different agreements that you might have at your organization.
yeah, and I guess protecting your system is all important. Anybody who watches the news knows, the Chinese are hacking in, there's hackers everywhere. And particularly with government systems, you've got to be very careful.
You really do. And that's why a lot of organizations, invest a lot of money. And if you think about it, it's pretty much a sunk cost. Because how do I turn around for you as, someone who might own a company and say, you have to invest this amount of money to protect your information, and there's no return on that investment. The return is that you don't get hacked or somebody doesn't break into your system. So, it's something that you have to do, but it's just a cost that you have to end up eating. And what we try to teach the students
But in the long run, it'll save you. I mean, how much does it cost to get hacked?
and that's a good point.
And repair the damage.
And that's a good point. And one of the things we teach people is that you have to understand that there's two different ways of looking at it. You can look at it from the point of view of a technical person, and you can look at it from the point of view of a manager. And the two are very distinct and different. because the technical person is going to say, you need to put these controls in place or you're at risk of getting hacked. And the manager is going to sit back and going to say, okay, that's a lot of money. If I spend 80% of that money, or even 50% of that money, how much protection can I get? And that's part of the course as well, teaching them about risk and how to assess risk and how to manage the risk. So there's a lot of components to our security program that we try to teach.
Now, if people want to learn more about what they can learn at Gulf Coast State College, or the course offerings there, or maybe want to talk with you about one of your classes, what they need, what can they do?
They can contact the college, and they can make an appointment to sit down with one of us. I would be happy to sit with anyone who had any questions. My supervisor, per se, is Professor Guy Garrett. He's got a great program for security. And we even go as far as doing background checks on the potential students, because what we want to make sure
you're not training hackers.
Well, and actually that is one of the courses we offer, the Certified Ethical Hacking class. That class teaches people how to hack ethically. So for instance, if you have a company and you're sitting back and you're like, I have no idea what my vulnerabilities are. What risks am I taking? You can bring in somebody who's called a certified ethical hacker who can try and break into your system and let you know where those vulnerabilities are. Okay,
where the weak points are.
But with that type of knowledge comes certain responsibilities. So what we tell our students is, what you have to understand is, if the company has their ducks in a row, they're going to go through their legal department, or if they're not big enough to have a legal department, they're going to bring in a lawyer to make sure that you are doing your job within certain confines. Because what they don't want to have you do is break in to their system and then use that information against them.
Joe Bober, this is really new world kind of stuff. It is a brave new world. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Anytime.
And getting us smart on IT security systems and the courses out there at Gulf Coast. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Aaron Jordan from Bay County Animal Services and his friend Blue, who's making a little racket here. Hey, Blue, how you doing? Now, what's the story behind Blue, Aaron?
He's a 3-year-old neutered male.
Uh-huh.
He's a min pin mix is what the owners turned him in as.
A min pin. He's a little bigger than a min pin, but I don't know what he's mixed with, but he's got a beautiful coat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that perfect coloring.
He's a little afraid, too. What's the matter, buddy? It's all right. It's all right. You can sit up here. So he's a min pin mix. He's got some Doberman color to him, you know. But he's not a very big dog. He's not nearly as big as a Doberman.
No.
And you said he's about, what, 3 years old, right?
Yes, sir.
Or maybe he wants to get on the floor. Come on down here, buddy. Atta boy. There you go. Well, he is just a great-looking dog. Looks real curious. 3 years old. Probably won't get much bigger.
Oh, no.
Short hair. Beautiful coat. Doesn't look like he sheds very much. It sounds like I'm selling a car here, doesn't it? It's like, but he looks like a great little family dog. You need a couple kids to play with, buddy boy. That's right. You need a couple kids. That's right. Yeah, and he's just a great dog. So he's already got his chip in.
Correct. He's got his chip. He's got all his first series of shots. He's already neutered. He's ready to go out the door for $25.
Yeah, out the door, $25. Now we do sound like car salesmen, but he's a wonderful dog, and I hope he finds a home. You know,
Right.
And an owner surrender, you got to give the owners credit.
Correct.
Who turn these dogs in? It's, how can you give up your dog? But it's actually the most humane thing to do. If you can't take care of your pet, give it to somebody who can.
Yep.
I mean, if you're in the circumstance where maybe you're moving to a place where that doesn't, allow pets anymore, or maybe
Correct.
it's just too much for you, or maybe you work during the day and the poor animal's home alone all day.
Correct.
Give it a good home. Give it a chance. So he's chipped. He's neutered. He's super friendly, and 3 years old. And I'm sure he's housebroken and all that stuff. So he's just a great little dog. Now, if someone wants to meet him, I guess we could just go on out to Animal Services.
That's correct. 6401 Bayline Drive, where they could go online and check out the mug shots there.
Yeah.
At the Bay County website.
Yeah, we just go out to the Bay County website, look for tab down to Animal Services, and I've actually done that to kind of look at the different dogs that you have there. And it's not just dogs; you have cats and other animals too,
Correct.
but primarily dogs.
Correct.
Because the dog is man's best friend after all. And diamonds are a girl's best friend. How come? Anyway, there he is. There he is. There you go. What a cute doggy. But at any rate, he's going to make someone a great pet.
Correct.
So, so please make sure to take a look at this dog. If you're looking for a pet for your family, this little fella here would make a great addition to any family. And always remember to spay and neuter your pets. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, and thanks for sticking with us in our final show, our very last Waking Up with Don episode. And I have a very special guest here today. We've got Karen, right?
Lucy.
Lucy. Lucy finally got on the show.
Okay, Desi.
Okay, yeah. Karen Arias, my wife and producer, who's kind of kept this show going from day one. For a year and a half, you've been booking people and making phone calls and doing all that crazy stuff. What's it feel like to kind of wrap this thing up with a bow? And
it's hard. It's been bittersweet. I just, there was a lot of good times, talking to a lot of different people from different.
You met a lot of people, right?
Yes, met a lot of people, on set or in public, and got to introduce myself when I saw them. They didn't know me.
Got to work on your southern accent.
Oh yes, right? My southern accent.
It's working really good.
Oh yeah,
sound great.
I haven't been home in New York in 32 years almost, and I cannot lose this accent. It's still with me. But anyway, it was great meeting a lot of people, and everybody has a different story. Something is.
And Karen, one thing I did learn, and didn't learn, it really just kind of reaffirmed what I think I already knew, is that Bay County and just Northwest Florida in general is populated by some really good people.
Absolutely.
Some really interesting, outstanding personalities.
Yeah.
People doing hard work, fun, smart people doing wonderful things. And again, it's, and I've said this a million times, Bay County and Northwest Florida in general is more than just an economy. It's a community. It's a lot of different communities with a lot of wonderful people in it. And this was a great way to get to know them even better than before.
Right.
We've got to run off to a break, but on the other side of that, we'll get your parting thoughts as well.
Okay.
We'll be right back with your final segment of the final show of the Waking Up with Don show. Welcome back to the show, and welcome back to our final segment of our final show of the Waking Up with Don show. And I've got a very special guest here by the name of Karen, who I know pretty well, actually, for quite a lot of years. As we turn this next chapter in our lives, as I go back to the Air Force that I love, and of those of you who haven't heard, this is the last show, and I'm closing it down to take a position at Tyndall Air Force Base to work in public affairs there, which is kind of where I started. And,
it's in your blood.
Yeah.
It's in your blood.
And I got to tell you, we're so lucky to have Tyndall Air Force Base right in our backyard. Not just the whole economic engine thing, but all the good people that come along with it. So I look forward to doing that. But it's kind of bittersweet closing this thing down, don't you think?
I want to thank our guests and all of our sponsors and advertisers, and of course the viewers who made this show successful. We enjoyed meeting a lot of people, different circles, types of people.
Yeah.
Great personalities, great talents.
And our sponsors have been great.
Absolutely.
And when we started a little community TV show, we had a couple sponsors that stepped right up. Like Fohan Furniture was one of them. They popped up and said, "That's a great idea."
Without blinking an eye.
Without blinking an eye.
We had some very loyal people supporting us.
Yeah.
And for that, I cannot express my
appreciation. I know I'll forget a few, but I know Sharp Carpet gave us the carpet here. And
Daryl Day built the set.
Daryl Day, my friend Daryl Day, who you know from Talk Radio 101, built this beautiful set that we're on here.
Peggy from Peggy's Barbershop has been cutting your hair.
And of course, Dr. Roman Nations and Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial.
Dr. Shores.
And, Dr.
Favaloro.
Oh, Forest Park Animal Hospital. All of them. Too many to mention here.
Too many to mention.
I mean, there's so many good people.
Vonda.
Coupon Queen, my personal favorite.
Right. Laura Nelson.
But, in just the 30 seconds that we have left now, it's just too much to list them all. But you know who you are out there who helped with this show. Yeah. It's been a really great learning experience, and it's been a wonderful time getting to know the people of Northwest Florida better, and hopefully you got to know us a little better as well.
Yeah.
And with that, any final thoughts before we sign off?
We'll miss it. We'll definitely miss it. And I enjoy doing something I never really was used to doing.
Who knew you'd be a little TV producer
Did a lot
someday.
of research to find these people, and I was very impressed with the guests we had on. And it was 99% of the time was all upbeat, and we hoped that we cheered everybody up.
That was it. The whole idea is to stay positive and be positive.
And good stories. Then you get to know people on
Well,
a different
Karen,
level outside of a name.
We are so out of time, it's not funny. This is it. This is the end of the show.
Right.
No more talking. I'll talk to you in the car on the way home. Thanks so much for sticking with us and watching the Waking Up with Don show, and I hope to see you all again real soon.